since I can't fall asleep, I might as well talk about some shit that I want to talk about. So my son has been crying to me the past 2 nights in a row, and it's crazy because, he doesn't get bullied, but he has very bad ADHD. And the ADHD, I think for a lot of kids, it makes it harder to like bond with kids. And it makes it harder, like you don't really give people their personal space. Teachers, classmates, like you kind of invade people's space pretty like impulsively. And then you also make impulsive decisions and say things, blurt things out. So you're always getting like told by the teacher to stop. Bathroom breaks because you can't sit down and you're like, okay, how do I get out of this? Because I did those same things. I have ADHD too, so I did those same things. And I just remember, it took me back because my son was telling me these things and he was just crying, It's really hard. It's really hard to find a balance between not yelling at them, but like being very firm, or like, yeah, yelling at them. Yelling at them multiple times because they're just not freaking listening, or they can't control themselves. And it's like so frustrating as a parent. So frustrating. But lately I've been like taking myself back to like what it was like when I was a kid and how hard it was for me, because it was hard for me too. And I think I make friends really well now because I've learned some hard lessons. But I think it took me a while. It took me a while because I never understood why like I was different than other kids, because I was different than the kids that could just sit there and focus and pay attention. And I learned differently too. I learned differently than them. And, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough because it's been a hard road with my son. And he's, been going through behavioral issues and like defiance issues and ADHD stuff, since he was like 4 years old. And it's been a journey for me because I have my own addiction issues, right? And like I couldn't take it. And like, I couldn't take it, and I like let my stress and kind of like sorrows get the best of me, and like I let it allow me to relapse. Like I took myself out of the program. I was like, no, I got this. I didn't. And with my son, I think the best gift I can give him is a sober mom. The best gift I can give him is Ashley staying in the program, is me being of service to others, and me being of service to him. Me being the best mom is me having compassion, is me looking at everything from like kind of like taking myself and my own emotions out of it and looking from like a higher perspective at like what he needs the most and the best at that time. Because what he needs at each given time is different. It's going to be different at each given time. It's funny because like, he got like some mood stuff, and like I notice each day, not each day, that's a little dramatic, but he can be a different kid different days. And I have to parent differently based off of those different days, or based off of those different ways he shows up. I have to show up differently as well. And, it's always being firm, or else he's going to take advantage of me. That goes with any kid that has ADHD. I did it to my mom. And my mom just didn't really like know. She didn't have a background in that. Me, like, I have ADHD. I was defiant. So like, he's not going to be able to play me. The best ways that he could play me is like in the mommy, and then I kind of like fold, and it's really like giving yourself compassion and patience to learn how to do it also, because being a mom is fucking hard. Being a single mom is even harder. And then being a mom of a child that is like so bright and so just like so special in every way, but has these things, is even harder. So like, like as long as we take care of ourselves, I just, it's like each day is like a different thing. And I feel like having the compassion and knowing that like I went through something very similar to him, and like him crying in his bed about it, like you guys, I just was talking for like 2 more minutes, yapping about God knows what, and it just deleted. So I don't know what happened there. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. But I feel like I'm Brody's mom because I went through the same things that he went through, and I didn't feel like my mom handled it well, which she did the best with what she could. She did the best with what she could. But she had no experience with it, and she also, patience and like compassion wasn't like her strongest suit. So I feel like my son is my son in order for me to be able to have the compassion and the patience and like learn those virtues, like actually learn them, because maybe I haven't had them in the past. And me being a mom, I needed to learn it, and at a pretty like deep level too, because I don't know, because I don't want my child to feel like they're not loved at home, or me making them feel different, when really we're all different. We're all fucking weird, and we all have our own issues, you know? So yeah, I'm like really trying to be conscious about how I parent him, how I show up in the world for him, so that he can show up in the world for other people in a loving way, rather than from a hurt place of anger.